This is a combination of a few things, because when it comes to the Montreal Canadiens and their first overall pick in the 2022 NHL Entry Draft, Juraj Slafkovsky, we have had a bunch of different things coming out about him the past... Honestly, I was about to say the past few days, but I feel like it really is just like the past day. Like the past 24, let's say 36 hours or so, we've had a bunch of new things to go over in regards to Juraj Slafkovsky. And speaking about Slafkovsky and that 2022 NHL Draft, I do want to make a video later in today's show talking about another one of these 2022 guys that has been put in a pretty tough spot on social media the past few days, mostly because of his draft potential, we'll just say. Sneak preview for another video in today's show, but today what I wanted to do in regards to Juraj Slafkovsky was go over a few stats, go over a few interview comments, and go over some awards, because this all went down over the span of the last, as we had said, day or so. Let's go out there onto Big Head Hockey, because what they did was they tweeted out this graph, or not even graph, but it's just a list of players in the NHL. Here is every forward with 20 goals, 30 assists, and 150 hits this season, all from 2023-2024. Brady Tkachuk, Matthew Tkachuk, JT Miller, Vinny Trocheck, Joel Eriksson, Alex Ovechkin, and Juraj Slafkovsky. As a 19-year-old, this is just insane, Big Head Hockey goes out there and writes. And that is a, of course, very cherry-picked set of statistics to go out there and analyze, but I do think that it provides a lot of value when you try to think about players in this kind of a way. You talk about versatility, you talk about assertiveness, you talk about guys that play bigger than they are, and you talk about guys who use their size well. 20 goals, 30 assists, and 150 hits. A lot of these guys are pure power forwards. You've got both of the Tkachuks, you've got Alex Ovechkin, JT Miller, then you got some smaller guys in there, Trocheck, okay, Eriksson maybe, and then Juraj Slafkovsky kind of fits into the middle, I guess you could say. Of course, he's a big dude, but he's not like the most brute force you could imagine, especially when you compare him to, let's say, Brady Tkachuk, for example. Like, obviously, the other guy is so much more aggressive, he's got that reputation, and yada yada yada, you know, you could talk all this stuff about Brady, but hey, Slafkovsky is right behind when it comes to those same attributes. And I think if you start to round out the rest of Juraj Slafkovsky's game, you think about, hey, this guy's only 19, a lot of these other names are much older. Ovechkin, of course, is kind of like a dinosaur compared to everybody else. JT Miller was drafted in 2011, Matthew Tkachuk 2016, Brady Tkachuk 2018. Juraj is a 2022 draftee. So he's a lot younger than most of the guys on this list, yet he's still making a similar impact, and this is coming off of a season where he didn't really play his best hockey to start everything out. In fact, when it comes to Juraj Slafkovsky, this is a comment that he made on a recent TVA Sports interview that I thought was super interesting to go out there and digest. I think that I can be way better than I was, Slafkovsky said. I had 50 good games and that's not enough. I just want to keep progressing more and hopefully we can get to the playoffs. That's the main goal. That was just the beginning. I had to start somewhere. Before that, the 70 games I had played were not great, Slafkovsky said. This was from TVA Sports, and the folks on the program set him up with this layup, and he goes out there and answers in a pretty angry fashion, to be honest. Like, he sounded pretty nervous, or not really nervous, but not too comfortable in this interview setting, and it kind of got an answer out of him where he was like, yeah, I gotta be better. Like, okay, I had 50 good games, but the previous games that I played were not great, and just that desire to keep on getting better, that desire to improve and show everybody that he can be a much better, more complete hockey player. He's only 19, but he's already gotten himself on that list with JT Miller, Ovechkin, and a bunch of other dudes of versatile, all-encompassing forwards. And his intention is to go out there and be much better than he was to start out his NHL career and just overtake guys on that list. In fact, Even though he had himself a pretty bad start to his NHL career, Juraj Slafkovsky still found himself ways to win multiple awards. Let's go over onto sportsnet.sme.sk. This is not Sportsnet like, Sportsnet Pacific or whatever in Canada. This is Sportsnet for Slovakia, because they went out there and posted this article earlier yesterday about how Juraj Slafkovsky is the Hockey Player of the Year for Slovakia. A quote from him reads, "I'm a completely different player than 2 years ago." This conversation goes out there and talks about how Juraj Slafkovsky won the Hockey Player of the Year award for the second time in his career, in addition to also taking home the prize for the best U20 player and the best forward from the Slovakia Gala evening. He won 3 awards for Slovakia hockey, which isn't really too, outrageous when you consider the quality of other Slovak hockey players in today's NHL. Juraj Slafkovsky is pretty much the best one now. I'm sorry that Marian Hossa is no longer in the league, nor is Tomáš Tatar really all too great anymore. But either way, Juraj Slafkovsky had these awards, and he had this to say about this dominance. Every year is different, and every year someone else can win it. I'm glad that I managed to do it again after a year's break. I'm happy for everyone, including the second place, Matt Pospisil, whose story is very strong, and the third place player, who I believe is Libor Hudacek. I think we have very good hockey players, and we must continue like this, Slafkovsky says. Would you always like a season like this? That would be a weak season if I always wanted one. So you have higher expectations. Expectations are probably a little bit different. You already won the same 3 categories 2 years ago, the interviewer asks. Is there a difference between these triumphs? Slafkovsky says it was a great euphoria then, the draft and things around it. It's a lot calmer now, though. I'm going to focus on more hockey. It's 2 wins, but I'm a completely different player. We'll see what the next years bring. Now, there are a few extra comments made by Slafkovsky if you want to go ahead and read that yourself on the article. Link is going to be in the description. But ultimately, when you think about the Juraj Slafkovsky update, how he has himself this really good set of numbers, how he's putting himself in competition that you could very well say is like elite of the elite. The Tkachuks and JT Miller and Ovechkin in being able to produce goals and assists and hits, putting himself in that echelon of top power forwards in the league, whilst winning a bunch of awards and making these badass interview comments at the same time. Juraj Slafkovsky has kind of dominated the past few days or so, and I wanted to go out there and make this video just to shed some light on everything that's going on. So, if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Juraj Slafkovsky and the crazy numbers that have been placed upon his repertoire. What are your thoughts on the awards that he had won? What are your thoughts on the comments that he made too? How he is always striving to get better and how he does not want to settle for what he was already. He wants to move beyond that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.